Hi, this is Tim Matcham, the property finance coach. Thank you very much for joining me today. We're going to be continuing our series of working with and building a power team around us. So the other day we spoke about having a really good broker who was conversant with investing in property. And today we're going to look at accountants. So accountants are really, really important part of your power team because your personal tax situation is going to be very different, or is likely to be very different from everybody else's. So understanding your position and what the right vehicle is for you to invest in property is really important. So let's cover off a few things here. First of all accountants are not equal, just as all brokers are not equal, just as all solicitors are not equal, just as all in every discipline you can possibly think of, they're not all equal. They're all going to have their own specialities and their own thing that they are particularly good at, where their core of their clientele is based. So they might be small business specialists, they might be big business specialists, they might be property specialists. So it's important for us here to recognize that there are differences between different accounting firms, and that it's worth asking people for recommendations when you are investing in property. And particularly if you are working with private investors, it's a very useful tool to have in your armory to work with an accountant that knows and understands about working with investors. So not just that, but the right vehicle. One of the questions I get asked an awful lot is what kind of should I buy these properties in my own name, or should I buy them in a limited company, or maybe as a partnership? What's the right vehicle? I'm hands up here, I'm not a tax specialist. That's why there are specialist property tax accountants out there who can look at your specific situation and advise you on your situation. So just because everybody else is doing one thing doesn't mean to say that it's right for you. You need to understand what works and why it works for you, not just for maybe the next property, but look ahead, have a plan, understand where you're going with your property journey so that you can make an informed decision right at the outset, so that you don't find yourself having to undo stuff that you've done a little bit further down the line when your property portfolio starts to blossom and you all of a sudden got more properties than perhaps you anticipated. How will that affect your tax and your personal position? So really important to understand that. So a property tax accountant will help you to understand what I say loopholes is the wrong word, but what you can do in order to minimize the tax implications on your particular portfolio. And obviously, if you're setting up a company, you need to have the right SIC codes and stuff so that the right tax is applied to your particular business. There is another aspect also to property tax accounting, and this goes into getting things like capital allowances and land remediation relief. Now, quite often, the accountants who were just doing the general property work won't necessarily be familiar with capital allowances and things like land remediation relief. They are very, very specialist areas, and they tend to be dealt with by specialist firms who do pretty much nothing else but that particular aspect. So if you're developing, if you're doing commercial property, having if you're buying property at all, things like land remediation relief can be a massive tax incentive to actually negotiate a really good price on a property, particularly if it's got something like Japanese knotweeds, one of the common ones. If it's contaminated land in any way, you can get tax relief, and whatever you spend, you get quite a healthy tax rebate back. And in some cases, it can be up to 150%. So that's pretty amazing. We did a project. I was involved in a project down on the south coast a few years ago, and we had a capital allowances specialist in to the property, and we got over £100,000 worth of capital allowances back in tax relief on that property. So knowing who to speak to can save you massive amounts of money, and it's worth paying for that professional business advice. So when you're choosing your property tax accountant, choose wisely. We go into this in more detail on my online course, Property Ambition, and we've got details of Property Ambition up here to my right. If you'd like any more details, do get in touch. Be happy to help and answer any questions that you may have. So in the meantime, stay safe and happy investing. Now is a great time to be investing in property. So thanks very much for watching. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to receive notifications. We look forward to seeing you again very soon.